Next up, we have Simon Taylor, Managing Director of Oklo Resources over there in West African, beautiful place called Mali. Take it away, Simon.
Right, thanks, Kerry, and thanks for having us again. And those that know the story, I'll just give a very quick upgrade at the beginning on our resource and where we're at. And when we last presented, I think we had some fairly high-grade results from DISA, and we've had some more numbers from DISA since the last conference, so I'll run you through those as well. So we're in Mali, as Kerry said, West Africa, prolific gold belt, 500 square kilometres of ground. Our resource currently sits here at DANDOKO, just under 700,000 ounces, very robust resource, pit optimised, and I'll show you some numbers on that shortly. We've got a lot of growth potential in the ground around us, and what we really like here is the geology and the underexplored nature of the belt. Very big projects near us, Barracks, Lulu, Gungoko complex up to the north, about 17 million ounces in total, and the Fekola mine out to the west of us, which is B2 Gold's operation.
Simon, do you think some of these big boys are keeping a very close eye on you, because it would be a nice resource, bit of M&A activity there?
Yeah, look, absolutely, Kerry. We've got the same rocks here as they have their mines, same mineralised system, and I'll show you a couple of rocks later on as we go through if we get time.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in close contact with them. In fact, our exploration manager drilled Fekola out, Andrew Boyd, who runs our operations for us, drilled out B2's project, which was then Papillon. And our chairman was actually managing director of Papillon at that time. So we've got a very good relationship with our neighbours. It's a great place to be working. We've got a great team, as I said. Just very quickly on the corporate side, this company's cheap at the moment. The market cap is under 60 million. It's fully valued fully undervalued from the resource in the ground. We've got a great stepping stone from what we've already got in the ground. We've got cash to get on with our work, just under 6 million. We've got some terrific shareholders on the register.
And I just like to point out to those that are watching at the moment, Blackrock Group, they're no fools, so they've got 10% of you. That's an interesting position for them.
Yeah, Blackrock's been there for a while and supporting us. They know that this part of the world delivers very, very big resources, and that's what they're there for. And They saw it with the Papillon discovery. We've got some other good shareholders on the register there. And as I said, we've got good broker support, good analyst support, and a very good team, as I said, with both Mark Connolly and Andrew Boyd, having worked in Mali extensively before in other companies. The resource itself, Kerry, as I said, just under 700,000 ounces at 1.8 grams, which is terrific for open cut. This is all from surface, predominantly oxide material. Importantly, 79% of the resource is already in measured and indicated category, and the resource itself sits at what we call SEKO, which is in here. 91% of the resource is in this area, and you can see a whole lot of targets along the belt here, over 15 kilometres long, where we can grow the resource, and we've got a whole lot of targets that we'll keep targeting. The other thing I just want to mention is these are real ounces. These are the resource is constrained within a pit. It's had the royalties attached to it, mining dilution, etc. So what we're seeing here will have a very strong conversion rate to reserve, they're real ounces. Additionally, we can have the optionality here to high grade the resource when it goes into production. If you see this table on the left-hand side, our base case, we're using a cutoff of 0.3, where we get our 668,000 ounces at 1.8. But as you see, as we take the cutoff higher, at a 2 gram cutoff, we've got over 400,000 ounces here at over 4 grams. So we've got this optionality in our mining schedule to high grade some of the high grade material at the start, which is great for your payback. And the higher the grade, the more money this is going to make in the early life. It also makes good money at low gold price and high gold price. At a $1,500 gold price, we only lose about 8% of the ounces which we originally had in the mining in the mineral resource. So look, as I said, robust. It's real. It's a really solid foundation for Oklo. And as I said, I think we're undervalued where we are today in this current gold market. Predominantly, the resource sits in 3 pits: SK1, SK2, and SK3. I won't dwell on these at the moment because what I really want to get through is to show you the drilling to expand the resource. But you can see the mineralisation sitting within the pit shells, and you can see there's mineralisation that sits outside these pit shells, with some pretty good results in all of them. I mean, this SK3 area, there's 20 metres here at 3 grams sitting underneath the pit, and these haven't fallen into the pit partly because of either depth or there's just not enough drilling there at this stage. So we've got a great opportunity to grow the resource by following up these areas, which we're doing at the moment. And that's the real value that we're going to add down the track, is adding ounces to the resource base we have at the moment. Let's have a quick look at what.
Plenty of drilling going on. Has there been any interruption with this dreaded C word that's out there, or have you guys been able to continue getting on with the drilling?
No, look, COVID hasn't stopped us at all. We're fortunate that our expat geologists are based in the UK and in France. So, they've continued to work through. We've got a great Malian team based on site. But no, COVID hasn't, obviously we're going through the proper COVID protocols, etc. Most of our staff have been vaccinated, and we're just getting on things there. So we haven't really been affected. Let's have a quick look at what it looks like. We'll have a look at a cross section through SK1, which is here, and SK2, which is in the middle here. And as you can see, these are the pit shells, this dark black line here. This is the mineralisation falling within the pit, and the categories you can see. But you can see here, very simple open cut mining from surface. SK1 is just over 300,000 ounces at about 1.8, and the SK2 area is 185,000 ounces at 2.4. So these are very good grades for open cut mining, Kerry, and they'll make a lot of money. Most of this is in oxide on SK1. You can see the oxide boundary down here, so fairly soft, free digging. And then SK2 goes down into the fresh rock, and we're actually drilling a deeper hole under SK2, which we've just finished now, and we're waiting on assays for. Stepping back from SK1 and SK2 and SK3, which are up the top here, this is the trend along to the south of SK1 where we're drilling. We've been doing some more drilling at Koko. We've found some interesting mineralisation down here at Bembala, and we're going to do some more drilling down there. But the real highlight that we've announced in the last 3 or 4 months is the follow-up drilling at Dissay, which is down in the bottom here. And as I said, in the last conference we had just announced some good numbers from there. Dissay, as I said, sits down on this western side. This is a plan view of what we were just showing you. SK3, which is this trend through here. SK2 is here in SK1. So what we announced when we had the last conference was the first holes, Kerry, from Dissay, and I'll show you some holes that were announced there just before Christmas. Again, very good grade. But for investors, we've got assays coming from other areas as well, which were drilled over the last couple of months. SK2, we've got some diamond holes into here looking for extensions to the SK2 mineralisation, and at SK1. But let's go and have a look at Dissay itself, which sits on the side here, which is this zone here. And some of these new hits that we've had from here, 3 metres at 19 grams, 21 metres at 1, which includes another intersection of, further down the hole of 7 metres at 9 grams, which has 3 metres at over 30 grams in it. So it's a high grade zone. It'll complement, it's predominantly in fresh rock. It'll complement the oxide mineralisation we have very well from SEKO. So you can see here, when we originally did the resource, I think only about 15,000 ounces fell into the resource at Dissay, and that was partly because, or mainly because we hadn't done enough drilling here. And I'll show you the amount of drilling that was here, and then what's in.
Simon, do you reckon Dissay is going to start to become an even bigger resource as you go along? First of all, it seems like it's fairly consistent, and there's some good grades in there as well. Has that surprised you to the upside? And are you going to be doing a bit more of a focus on Dissay?
Look, we always knew Dissay was there, and we actually put some holes into Dissay when we first came in here 4 or 5 years ago. But we realised it's a different style of mineralisation to SK1 and the SEKO area. It's more of a vein style system. But we can now that we've got the base case with the SEKO oxide resource, we can definitely add this high grade material to what we've got now. And we'll have a look at a long section through here now, Kerry, right through this area. So this is now looking at Dissay. To the right is virtually to the east, and to the left is the west. And you can just make out these dashed lines through here. These were the pits that were designed on the original resource, because we had very little drilling through here. And then you can see some of the follow-up drilling, which are all these dots that have gone in. All the yellow dots, or sorry, all the yellow call-outs is new drilling that we've done in the last couple of months. But you can see there's a real potential here for some shoot development at depth and potential underground down under these pits here. You know, over here, there's 3 meters at 22 grams. We've just deepened a hole underneath that target over here. This is a new intersection here, 7 meters at 9 grams, which includes 30. So all of this is in fresh rock, unlike the SEKO resource, which is predominantly oxide. You know, some very good intersections here, 6 meters at 12, 13 meters at 4.6. And I'll show you a cross section on the next slide, which comes down through here. And we've just finishing 2 deep diamond holes underneath these 2 sections at the moment, just to try and find these high grade shoots at depth, which is typical of the area. And if you remember the West African story, which, you know, WAF in Burkina, they quite similar. They had, you know, a large oxide resource. I think it was about 1.2, 1.3 grams. And then they got onto a high grade underground zone that has really, you know, which has got over 1 million ounces in it, I think at about 10 grams. So that's the sort of thing we're trying to find. Let's have a look at a section through that.
A couple of minutes left, Simon.
Yeah, okay. So this is the section that I've just showed you. And you can see this latest hole down here has, you know, a big wide zone, but within that there's 7 meters at 6 grams, which is potential underground feed. And we're just drilling another hole underneath that and chasing it. So the whole Dissay zone's about 500 meters long. We've got more holes coming from there and assays, which we hope to get out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But it's an exciting development for us. So just wrapping up, Kerry, we've showed this slide last time. Why do we like the area? It's got all the ingredients that you get at, you know, Barrick Gold's project, which is to the northwest of us, which I mentioned earlier. You know, very big system. It's the same rock types, same alteration. We've got to keep drilling. We've got the plumbing system here. We need to keep drilling. We have a whole lot of other targets to chase up in peripheral to this in our 500 square kilometres. We're going to come down to Sari and do some more drilling shortly, which is down here, which is, you know, within 10 kilometres of DANDOKO. So these can all be satellite feeds as down the track. And Sari's very much under drilled, and Kasai, there's a 6 kilometre trend here and a 3 kilometre trend here. So these are things we're getting to in the next couple of months as well to add to the portfolio. So just ongoing drilling, Kerry. We're de-risking the project as well. We've done pretty much done all of our social environmental baseline work, and our technical studies are finalising, which we then lodge with Mali and the Malian government to apply for a mining licence. So de-risking, drilling, and just getting on with the work.
You know, Simon, it's really interesting because I think there is so much that you've done since we last spoke. We've got investors out there that are looking at this. Why do you think that you're currently undervalued? Why do you think that, because you've got a good resource, there's lots of upside. And if you look at somebody like West African Resources, whoa, they had a really big upside. And at the end of the day, investors out there want to go, all right, how am I going to make money? Just give us what's your thoughts of where you are?
I think it's pretty simple, Kerry. I think gold's out of favour at the moment. You've seen, you know, the producers, look at Northern Star and Evolution and all those come way off in value. A lot of money still chasing the EV, the lithiums and everything else. And gold will come back. And the other thing is we're getting a discount in West Africa, and that'll change. You'll see some M&A. You know, the big producers need resources. They're going to have to add to their pipeline. And this is a great time to be looking at the company because it's cheap.
It's always a good time to look when no one else is looking. And actually, I love your project. And one of the things that I want our audience to understand is what Simon's been doing is he's been de-risking, getting all the environmental. He's doing the boring stuff, but it's undervalued. Do your own research and go and chat to Simon in June when he's at the Gold Conference in person. Simon Taylor, Oklo Resources, great presentation. Thanks for joining us today.
Right, thanks, Kerry.